exercise physiology deals with the chronic adaptations to exercise stress. Now that has a very important health implication, because now if we go back to that same individual, that cardiac patient who had that very rapid increase in heart rate walking up the stairs, now they can walk up the stairs and not have as much of an elevation in their heart rate. That's a critical change, that fitness-induced change that changed that person or allowed for that person to increase their function, because maybe they couldn't make it up the steps because they were worried that their heart was going to beat too fast. But now after training, they can walk up the steps. So what I'm saying is exercise physiology is dealing with two areas. Acute exercise at the time, and you need to understand that, the physiology, and this is all of the organ systems. I use the heart as the example, but we're talking about the lungs, we're talking about the muscles, the liver, the kidneys. They all matter. Now obviously in this class we can't cover all of those organ systems. We need to center in on just a few, and I'll tell you which I'd like to center in on. But other than the acute, then we also want to focus in on the chronic adaptations, because for you as health educators, you want to go out to the public and say, hey, if you do this, you should expect this outcome. So that's what exercise physiology is. My interest in it stemmed from trying to question, how can I become a better athlete? I was interested in basketball. Why can't I jump this high? Why can't I run this fast? Why am I not good at this? So I was interested in trying to improve my own exercise performance, and then through that, as I started to read and learn about the science behind it, then it got me thinking, well, wow, who cares about basketball per se? Now if you apply some of these same principles to people who are sick, people who can't walk from here to the door, now this is a real important impact. And so from this athletic perspective, because people often think exercise physiologists are gym teachers or physical education teachers, we're not. Went on to look at clinical applications, and exercise physiologists work with every sick person there is: cancer patients, HIV patients, cardiac patients, pulmonary patients, diabetics. There should be an exercise consultation within. There's not. It's starting to become a more and more popular area. So that's what exercise physiology is, and that's the application. I want to make the point that if you apply anything I have to say today, and I haven't even started yet, I want to view this along a continuum, because you all, as health educators, will deal with people across different levels of fitness. What I'm saying is this: if you kind of draw out a continuum and you put the average person, this is fitness, the average person's fitness is somewhere here in the middle. And then you go out here, and these are the elite athlete types. We do a lot of testing at Northeastern University on professional athletes. They are way off the chart in what they're able to do. Yet, on the far end of the continuum this way, we have the sick person. You know, the person that's waiting for a heart transplant. One of the criteria to get that heart is an impaired exercise capacity, below a certain value. So here is this continuum, from the sick to the elite. And every concept that I want to throw out today pertains across the continuum. We don't have to cite specifically the sick person. Yeah, there are some minute changes or alterations and how you would apply some of the concepts here versus here, but it goes across the continuum. Now, across this continuum, across this fitness idea, I want to establish one basic concept. That basic concept is a person's fitness is variable. It depends on what type of fitness you're speaking of. For instance, think of someone like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, someone who's a big muscular person who in our society is typically thought of as being the very fit. Well, I want to ask you this question. Has anyone really assessed, and perhaps there are data on this, but has anyone really assessed how well Arnold Schwarzenegger can run? How far can Arnold Schwarzenegger jump? How well or how flexible is Arnold Schwarzenegger? We don't know the answers to that, yet he's on the cover of the fitness magazines. Why? Because he has big muscles. Is he strong? Absolutely. Is he powerful? Absolutely. What type of fitness is Arnold Schwarzenegger superior to most in? musculoskeletal. No question. He's got strong muscles. He's got strength. But that's not fitness. That's one area of fitness. If you look at Uta Pippig, winner Boston Marathon 3 times, she has arms about the size of this pen, but she's got an oxygen carrying capacity and a running ability that would just ruin all of us. Now, is she strong? Does she have a good level of musculoskeletal fitness, strength? Maybe, I don't know, but I would suspect I'll lean towards the positives. What I do know is Uta Pippig has a great deal of endurance, musculoskeletal endurance, not necessarily strength. You'll see some of the yoga masters. They don't have big muscles and they don't have great endurance. They may not. But what they are capable of doing is contorting their body, changing the way their muscles stretch, etc. They have incredible flexibility. Well, what type of fitness are we talking about here? We're talking about all of the levels of fitness. But if you had to pick one of these, I want to tell you that it's the musculoskeletal endurance. It's the ability of the heart and the lungs, the running type, the aerobic athlete. That is the one that's really important for health.
For more information about the National Institute of Whole Health and their accredited professional continuing educational programs, go to www.wholepersonhealthcare.org or call 1-888-354-HEAL.